What's going on, people? Looks like this should be live. Just got to give it a second, make sure it pops up and all that stuff. It's the same thing I go through like every time I do this because you never know. I had a string of things going wrong, like I think it was last year. Ended up being that Cox as a whole, internet service wise, they had some things that weren't quite right back end wise. But looks to be things are fine. I see it over here on the old YouTube. So cool, fantastic, whatever. So I put up a little post a little while ago. If you see that, go ahead and respond to it. Figure, I should see if there's anything I should change about the videos before I start getting them all out there. Because I've got a lot of them to record, right? And if there's any suggestions to be made as far as how those things are being made, it's probably a good idea to hear them before I start making them. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that makes sense to me, anyway. But for now, I'm just gonna sit here. I got some stuff to open up because it's a bunch of figures that I need to put on shelves now that I've cleared some space. Gonna watch a little bit of wrestling, so should be a pretty smooth going thing. Maybe some people will show up. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here talk about some stuff or whatever. So, like I was saying, like all these AEW figures that I've picked up over the last, I guess they come out like every 2 months, and there's like 5 of these sets. So over the last 10 months. Yeah, it's a lot of them. I've been doing the reviews. I just haven't been able to get the stuff out there. And that's the other thing, I guess, like as far as like the reviews and stuff, because I do want to start doing the actual like figure on figure unboxing reviews and stuff like I was doing in the past. It's not super easy to knock those out because it takes a lot of extra crap to do, right? Because I mean the shoe pictures and all that good stuff. It's like you kind of get into the zone, you just knock it out. But it becomes like a whole hassle, right? And some people do like it, right? And so if there's people that like the thing, then I'll do the thing, right? It's just a matter of like making time to do it and stuff because it's again takes significantly longer. But I've got like as far as the shoe stuff, I've got like 30 something reviews to knock out. I did my quarterly pickup video today, right? So that'll be going up hopefully in the morning. And that had like, I think it was like roughly 25 or so pairs in that. And then you add on to that, like the stuff that I picked up over the last, 2 months before it and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to deal with. So I'm gonna try and get it out there, get the videos out there, review wise out there hopefully kind of over the next several weeks because in the past like I've done that whole thing where I just go in and just upload constantly, right? And it's there's a reason not to do that and there's a reason to do that, right? Because for one, if you do that, it leaves all the stuff out there, people can just kind of get to it, watch whatever they want to watch or whatever. But also if you do that, it becomes a little overwhelming in a way. And i don't I don't mind that a lot of people aren't watching all the videos, right? Because like, why would you, right? Like, if you're not interested in something, don't watch it. But for me, it just becomes a matter of like, what am I gonna, what am I gonna do with all this stuff, right? Like, how am I gonna get this all out there? So I put it all out there at once, and then everybody else like, I'll watch this and that, and most of it just gets unseen, even if it is something you would want to see, right? Because again, if you see like 30 videos pop up in a day or something, you're probably just going to scroll through, maybe like watch a couple that look decent. And you may not even watch those all end to end. So I've got no complaints about it. It's just like, I'll just stagger them because the advantage being if you stagger the stuff out, Chris Statlander, if you stagger the stuff out, then it helps also keep the channel from going stagnant because I don't really see myself buying a whole lot of other stuff for a little while, mostly just because I have so much to get through. So it's a bit of a hassle. It really is. But it's the thing that I do, right? Because I've got the free time for it now, and people seem to be into that, right? So as long as they keep watching and I keep buying stuff, then the videos will keep happening, right? So it's kind of one of those things. It's like I always talk about how into this I am or am not. Hey, it's BX. What's going on? And that's the thing. Like, if something comes along and I like find another thing to do, like a new hobby that takes a lot of time, I'll probably just be doing that. BX, what are you up to, man? You should jump in here and we can talk in real time if you want to. I'll put the link in the thing there and you can get to it if you care to. If you don't, I get it. People got things to do. I'm not gonna hold that against you. You're an adult with an adult life, I suppose. So, how goes it, Mr. BX? I'm just sitting here kind of talking about things that I need to do over the next however long. A bunch of videos that need to be made, you know. Uh, and since you're here, question for you, the same question that I opened this whole thing up with, and the same thing I put in my community section. Let me know if you happen to have any suggestions and whatnot, for the way I do the videos. If you think, oh, I think you should do this more, you should do a little less of that, because I do care about people's opinions in varying degrees, right? Because there are people that are just nonsense, right? They just kind of come in there, they say some random thing, and they just disappear. But the people who are often here, if you, those are the ones that I take the suggestions from more to heart, right? Like when I'm asking, like, well, oh, what stuff do you want me to actually review? As far as if there's like, oh, you should pick up these, I think you'd like them, blah blah blah. You know, yeah, I'll buy some stuff that people want to see once in a while. Not right now because there's a huge pile of shoes over here that need to be talked about. But you get back to me in like maybe a month or two. Let's see, can't jump in right now. Hey, not a big deal, man. I'm not gonna hold that against you. Like I said, sure you got your own things going on, so do you. But how's things been? How's the kind of like how they put the hands in the pockets? Like I've never seen that on an action figure before, like Orange Cassidy here. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, so how have you been, Mr. X? How's your New Year, your Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever it is you might happen to celebrate? You never know. Gotta ask. Who is that? If it was the guy, that was Orange Cassidy, right? So he's one of those like what do you call like you probably see him in a lot of reels, because he's entertaining and he's does some cool stuff or whatever. It's funny or whatever, and it's just the kind of things that like I'll see friends of mine talk about like, hey man, check this out, and it's like, oh yeah, I saw it. Like they don't care about what match that was or any of that stuff. They're just like, yeah, this was funny, right? So he's definitely got that appeal to make people like want to see him in a large way, right? Which is cool. It is. But yeah, that's Orange Cassidy, one of the wrestler folks. Man, there's all kinds of tape on these things, and they make all the noise, all of it. So you're back in the office and want to run away already? I have been back in the office since last. What day did I come back? Tuesday, right? The day after Christmas. I got back on the 26th, started working again, on bright and early Tuesday morning. Considered taking the Tuesday off because why not, right? But instead, I was there just hanging out, doing work stuff. It was a very slow week, so it was kind of mostly just me being there. But, me being there means I get paid, and getting paid is a thing that is important for me, right? Because that's how I buy, like, Trent figures and something, right? So there's that. Or excuse me, not Trent, Mr. Taylor. Because like I mean, you probably don't have to worry about work and money and stuff because got that big money. I see the stuff you buy. I know what kind of life you're living over there. Seems pretty nice, honestly. But us common folk over here, we need to work for our things. So it is what it is. I'm not gonna hold it against you. But out of curiosity, though, I saw a LeBron James action figure that cost $500. Jesus Christ! I was just buying like I bought my dad a jersey for his birthday. His birthday is coming up, and so I needed to know like what size he bought or what size he wanted or whatever. So I had to, I was like, I know I've bought him a jersey before, and I'm going back through things. I have bought him. I guess I forgot about every piece of it, but I bought him like a lot of LeBron things over the last couple of years because he's a big LeBron James fan. I don't think he'd spend $500 on one of his action figures, but he does like the guy. I'm not sure why. He's never really said, and I've never really asked because I don't care in that way. But Yeah, he's a huge LeBron guy. Me, I'm not, right? I've got nothing against him. I do dislike most of his shoes because they are super bulky looking, and the one pair that I did try on just felt horrendous. It looked cool. It did. It looked really cool. But oh my god, it was just like I put it on and like you ever put something on and then instantly you just want to take it off? That's how I felt with that. I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. Chris Jericho, the Painmaker edition, right? That's why it's got the what's that movie? Clockwork Orange sort of thing going on. Let's see. I thought about purchasing that, but I'm still living in the shed. Oh yeah, the shed thing. How is the shed? You got a new lock on there or anything? What's that? But the LeBron 20s. Honestly, I don't even know which. I can identify the seven, the LeBron 7, right? Because I think I had one of those briefly, because it's one of those things where like I bought it because it seemed like something people would be into, and I thought maybe I can use this to like get something that I want later, you know. And so I bought it, and then it was just like everywhere, like these little bags, like you can label them and stuff, so you know like what pieces go with what. And since he has this hat, I don't want to lose it, so that's why the bags. But yeah, so I bought these LeBron. It's the only LeBron review that I've done. It was a white shoe, has some gold accents on it. Came out at the really early, really early in 2020 or very late in 2019. I can't remember exactly, but I bought them and I got them and I was like, I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, you know. The 7, it kind of reminds me of like some of the Air Max shoes that I like. But I mean, I didn't wear it. I'm saying visually speaking. But yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, you know, if nobody really is having a hard time getting these, which they weren't because I guess they made a million of them, then I'm not gonna bother holding on to this, right? If it's something else, it can be worth holding on for like, you know, some time if you know that it's gonna pay off. That I didn't care. I was like, let me just get my hundred and something dollars back. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, like I know too. I just cannot imagine. I can't think of the name of it. What in the world has happened here? Huh? I look away for a minute, and now Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are the tag team champs. Hopefully, that's not spoiling anything for anybody. But I am watching Dynamite because I watch Dynamite. But yeah, like, and I've seen some other LeBrons that look fine. There was a pair that came out. Oh wait, is she reversing the decision? I think Audrey Edwards is gonna reverse it. But I've seen some other LeBrons that I did like. It was this one pair. It was around that same time frame because I was gonna get a pair for my dad, and they were like black and red. It had like that weird sort of textured look on the side. It might have been the same model that they did the Swack hammers, like the Space Jam release. It might have been that same model. I can't remember for sure, but John Moxley, my third John Moxley figure. Don't need 3 of them. Let's see. Do you buy those poster frames separately behind you, or do they come like that? No, those are courtesy of Amazon. Well, you can buy the fit. You They did offer a more expensive version, like or a package deal, I guess, where you could get okay, where you could get the poster and the frame. Okay, see, now nothing has changed. They restarted the match. The Acclaimed won. Things are fine in the universe. But yeah, BattleNet. That's a weird name, but it does sound familiar now that you say it. But yeah, so I could have bought these together, but it was ultimately cheaper, I guess, in a way. And if you saw any of my reviews from 2019, like the year I actually started, wait, what? Okay, it's not. Yeah, from 2019, back when I started doing this, I had those on the wall with no frames. They were just like, what did I use? You know how like they have it's like the stuff you can get. It's like double-sided tape, you know? And I had it on there, but it's not super sticky on one side. It's just enough so you can pull it off and it doesn't like mess up your pictures or whatever you use to hang up, right? But I just had the poster just bare on the wall. It looked kind of tacky, honestly. If you go back and look at any of those reviews, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you're like, wow, what, were you poor or something? I wasn't. You know, I'm still not, which is cool. But yeah, sometimes I'm just cheap, right? I think we all have been there. It's kind of like 3M tape, but it's not. And I still have packets of that stuff somewhere because until I got frames for, I've got a lot of these posters through here. There's like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, right? There's eight of them framed in this apartment. Nine if you count the one that's still in the box. But yeah, I think it's by the people that make the 3M tape. It's just not tape. You know what I'm saying? It's something fancy, and you got to call it something fancy. Otherwise, you can't charge a lot for it. So I had that, and it was working out very well. It had these things up on the walls for months. Like they did fall down sometimes, like humidity or whatever would kind of mess things up. But yeah, like I can totally vouch for those things. Like I'm gonna have to find out what they were because I still have some somewhere. I have a whole bunch like on the side of my door right now, just because I took something down. And I was like, I'm gonna reuse these, so I'm just gonna put them here so I don't forget where they are. And then there is, I have no idea what that name is. Can't really pronounce it personally. Don't take it, offensively. But he says, or she says, how are you? I am okay. Okay. How about yourself? This is Trent, right? AW Trent. Let's see. I know what you're talking about. It sticks and you pull it off and it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. There's no residue. It's very cool. It's very cool. They have like the strips and they also have the clear circles and stuff. I think over there I have like the clear circles, but somewhere in here I do have the actual strips. Because, geez, like this plastic, it's not normally so difficult to get some of these figures out, but when they have like these thick jackets on, it kind of just throws things off. Let's see. And he says, I like your videos. I hope more people subscribe. So here's my thing about the subscriber count, right? I'm going to do that rant because it's one I haven't done in a while, Not that like these are things I just pull out every so often, but, I'm coming up on a milestone, so I'm just going to say it now, right? I think I'm like 200 away from 9,000. What does the thing say? 300 away. Either way, first off, I do appreciate the sentiment. I truly do. But I think some people, not necessarily you, some people put a whole lot of stock in like the subscriber count, right? And they act like it's like the end of the world or the beginning of the world or whatever. And I just don't agree, right? Because when I see that, now some of the subscriber counts matter, right? 100 subscribers, that means you can actually set your own personalized name, right? Meaning like youtube.com/shoesupsleevesdown. So 100 is very cool. Number one is also very cool because that means people actually care to watch your stuff. Unless it's all just friends, then it might be out of pity. Past 100, 1,000 is the next one because that means you can possibly get monetized if you get your 4,000 watch hours in that year, in that 12-month period. But after that, it's all just kind of whatever. Now, a higher number can make your channel look a little more legitimate, so that's cool, right? But at the same time, it doesn't make the channel better, right? It just means a lot of people have clicked the button, many of which are bots, I believe, and some of them are real people that will never actually even interact with you, right? I've had, 8,730 subscribers. I guarantee you there have not been 8,730 different names scroll across my comment section, right? That's just not how that works. There's been a decent amount, right? Maybe a couple hundred, probably. I never even thought about it. But yeah, so the subscriber number, it's cool, right? Because it might make some people feel good, but it's like when you think about it, it's like, what's it really doing for you? I mean, if you get 100,000, I think you get like a plaque, right? But it's cool, that people do subscribe. I do appreciate it, and also because of like I don't ask for it because I feel like then it's weird, right? It's basically like saying when people at the end of their videos, and nothing against anybody, when they're like, oh, don't forget, like, please subscribe to the channel and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why are you just begging for attention? The person showed up, they watched your video, just be happy with that. That's enough for me, right? I like when a comment comes through that's like insightful or whatever. That's a bonus right there. And yeah, because like if people share the thing, that's cool too. But I don't put too much stock in that because as long as you do your back end stuff right, it makes your videos easy to find right off the top. But yeah, I just have some weird feelings about the whole subscriber thing, which is why I don't ever talk about asking people to do it, because they'll do it if they want to. That's how I've been getting by. This Eddie Kingston hand is just like caught in some invisible tape here, and I don't like it. Now, but again, I appreciate it. I'm just talking about stuff because when I'm doing these lives, when people say things, I get to respond in a larger way than if you had left that as a comment on a video. I just be like, cool, thanks, right? So, but of your videos, of the videos that you do like, that you have watched, what is it that you like about them? That's a question that I ask every so often, because some people, right, they watch them and they're like, oh, I like the close-up pictures, or I like the random nonsense that you talk about sometimes in the beginning or whatever, or I like the, I don't know, I just like the on feet things, or some people just like the actual shoes. They're like, oh, I like just that they're ones I've never heard of or something, right? Because sometimes they are off the beaten path. So out of curiosity, asking again, what do you like about the videos that you have liked? Let's see. Now, where am I? Hey, Chip is in here. Look at that. Okay, and he says, what's going on? I say, what's going on to you? And to answer your question, not a whole lot. Sitting here, opening some figures and whatnot, talking to somebody whose name I unfortunately cannot say because I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like an acronym. He says, yeah, I understand. What up, what up? Hey, and there's Mike Bisney. Like, are you the one that commented a while ago and said something about being from Iowa? Is that you? I feel like that was you. If it wasn't you, it was obviously somebody else. But for some reason, I'm thinking it was you. Is that Tony Nese? Huh. Oh, yeah, that they did say that was going to happen. So, and he says the sarcasm. Oh, yes, there is a lot of that, right? And it's funny because, like, some people will see that and they'll be like, oh, ha, 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 funny, funny, right? Because they'll just go along with it and it entertains them. And then other people will be like, I hate this guy. He's so rude. Yeah, I get a lot of that too. Because depending on like where you jump in, yeah, whatever you take from it is going to be whatever you take from it. And I don't get too worked up over it because at the end of the day, everything anybody has ever said about me in these comments, 100% true, depending on the situation, right? Am I rude? Sometimes. Sometimes. Other people say, oh, wow, it's funny. It's like, yeah, it could be funny too. I don't know. Depends. And that could be the same sentence I say that takes both people in different directions. It's kind of crazy how it works out, but I don't really think too much of it. I just say whatever I say and then I move on. Also, I think I've said it before. Hey, Sioux City. That's what I thought. And I said it before. What I like is you do reviews on shoes. Yeah, that's the thing. Because is this thing just not coming out of here? That'll happen later. I'll have to keep this off on the side. But yeah, because the thing to me, when it comes to shoe reviews, switching gears just a little bit. So when it comes to like the shoe reviews, right? Because I know like some people make videos that are more like, okay, hey, check it out. I got this. It's pretty cool. You know, I remember when this thing happened. They talk about maybe like why they got it or something. Not so much about the shoe, but in some cases it doesn't matter, because if you're doing a video about like some random Jordan 11 that is like the shoe coming out for the holiday season that year, kind of sells itself, you know. But there are sometimes the people who kind of need more of a breakdown so they can at least maybe see it up close, kind of get an idea of like, is this worth it? Are the materials decent on here, you know? So I talk about a lot of crap in my videos because that's going to be useful to somebody. So that's why I, name them as reviews. When I did my shorts and stuff over the was that last year? Something like that. Those were not reviews. So I just label it as just like Air Max 97, black and gold or whatever, and call it a day. But yeah, I want to put some value out there for anybody who's willing to actually like, sit through one of these videos so that they take something away from it. If that something is just pure entertainment, that's cool. But if that something happens to be learning like why you maybe should buy the React Vision over the React Presto, well, fantastic. Hopefully I can sway your buying in a way that informs you of something, even though you don't necessarily have to take my opinion. Sometimes facts are facts. Now, moving along. I like the sarcasm. I also like how you take care of your dad's sneakers. I do this. Yeah, my parents, they have more shoes than I really know because I buy them stuff regularly. Like I see things all the time. And so I just buy them and send them to them, or like they come up here and like I have lots of shoe boxes. You probably noticed that, but I'll have something for my mom or for my dad, and it'll just be out in plain sight, right? But it just blends in because you don't know. So then, like 2 months later or something, like the next time they're up here, and I'm like, oh, hey, mom, here, got you this for your birthday. It's been sitting here since like forever. She's probably seen the box, but never noticed that there's like a 7 on it, not a 9.5, right? And now I go down there and I see like all the shoes that I bought my dad over the last like 2 years, and they're just like all piled up here. My mom's got these not drop fronts, but like they're a cheaper version of the drop fronts, because who's really trying to spend $60 on 6 little crates, right? I've done it, but it was for giveaways, so it didn't even go to me. But yeah, so I like to make sure that they have some things that they might like. Same with my brother. I every so often I'll send something to my sister too, but not as often. She doesn't seem to care as much. Not saying she's ungrateful, she just doesn't seem to care as much. But my brother, he, much like the dad, the mom, super into it. They're not shoe people, but when they get them, they're like, "Oh, wow, this looks cool. Wow," and they put it on. Wow, these are comfortable. Yeah, it's a whole package. Let's see. When we get choose up to 10K, he's getting hoop dangling earrings. Okay, let's. I keep forgetting that I have this option here to put things on the big screen. This right here. I don't know where you're coming from with this, but let me be the first to say officially no to that. I'm not a piercing guy, right? So I will not be getting the hoop dangling earrings. But maybe one of these days I'll do a giveaway and you know do that or something like that. Send some hoop dangling earrings to somebody. Where did you even come up with that? Hoop dangling earrings. And speaking of which, what's next in there? Well, with a leotard. What do you people like? Okay, let me explain something to you, right? How you see me in the videos is how I dress, like 100%. Hold on a second. Like this thing is like, am I gonna break this trying to get it out of here or something? Yeah, maybe. Where's that knife? BX bought me this knife. I don't know if he's still in the thing, but yeah, he did. Very cool of him. But say to cut away from you, so let me just cut away from it. There we go. But yeah, so quick question. Moving past the nonsense that I'm seeing in this chat. So what are you guys into? Like as far as your other interests? Because I get that a lot of you probably initially noticed me because on account of the whole shoe situation, right? I get it, but we all have other stuff that we're into. I like my wrestling. Music is like my main interest. That's why I spend a lot of money seeing a lot of bands and buying a lot of CDs that I don't always listen to. But what about you guys? What do you do when you're just hanging around? You video game people? Has anybody played the new Need for Speed Unbound? I'm probably gonna buy that soon because I got a very good review from Kyle Martin. He hangs out in the comments often. He said he's played all of them and that is the one. So I'm gonna take his word for it. Well, I'm gonna set Brian Cage over here with this because I don't feel like dealing with that anymore. They really need to figure out a different way to do these things. Star Wars. Wait. Star Wars, Legos, watches, and sneakers. Okay. First off, we'll start with Star Wars. I And you ever see did you see the Black Panther movie? Like, kind of reminds me like the Namor guy. He's got like the same colors and he's got like the same sort of skin tone. Yeah, I mean these aren't adamantium shorts or whatever, but kind of makes me think of Namor. Weird. Okay, so Star Wars, right? I don't do Star Wars. I am not a fan of like space things, like fantasy worlds and people flying around and rocket ships. I give it a pass when it comes to like the Marvel comics thing because I grew up reading a lot of comics, so that's a thing that I'm into. But otherwise, so yeah, so the Star Wars, the Star Trek, whatever else falls into that realm, I can't get into it. Won't get into it. Refuse to get into it. Refuse to even try, right? But I do recognize that a lot of people are into it. Now the Legos thing, where are those? Oh, those are in a box somewhere. I have a lot of little Lego things around. I have the comic because I go to Comic Con mostly every year. They didn't have one the last two, but or the previous two. But one of the years I got this like little Superman Action Comics, from the cover. I got the little Lego thing of it. The good thing goes for like $500 now or something crazy like that. But I do want to buy more Legos and get more into that. It's already hard enough finding the space to like display these things, right? But Legos, that's one that I can definitely get into. It's a very cool thing to me. Oh wait, did I miss something? Okay, watches. Let's finish this thing up. Watches. I mean, I've got this Garmin's Vivo Sport. That's what that is, right? It's enough of a watch for me. But I have seen some cool looking watches. Like I don't know anything about watches, but I've seen some and I'm like, wow, that looks pretty all right. I almost bought it's like a Pac-Man something or other. Like it was just like for some whatever anniversary edition watch that they made. And I almost bought that. But then I was like, I'm not trying to like would I wear it over here? Then that's weird because I already have this over here. So but it was a thing that I did really want. And sometimes going back to the shoe thing, sometimes like I'll buy stuff that I like for other people, and then I just like live through them. I'm like, hey mom, check this out. So, oh wow, that's cool, you know. And then it's like it's both of ours, Like I just use it when I go to her house or something. But what's the next thing? Sneakers. Okay, yeah, I have nothing to say about that, but I do have my share of sneakers and talk about them on a regular basis. As far as YouTube people, irregular basis if you're an average consumer. Let's see. And travel. So there was a time when I lived in England and I did a lot of traveling then. And that was pretty cool, right? I was able to see all kinds of stuff without having to break the bank to do it, right? Whose hand was this? This must have been one of the Brian Cage hands. I'm just going to assume that it was. But yeah, I used to travel a lot back then. It was cool, man. Like, because ticket prices were so much cheaper than they are here, right here, as in the United States. Like, I could buy like a last minute ticket to leave the next day and go to like the Canary Islands or something for like, a couple $100 and, have a good time for a couple days, right? Here, it's like, I go to buy any ticket to go anywhere, and it's like $1 million, right? To go to like West Virginia. Not that I would buy a ticket to go to West Virginia because what's there and it's close. But I say it because, that's kind of how things are. And I don't like it. I just went to Iowa last month, Christmas things and whatnot. I think it was like $800, right? I've never spent that much to go to Iowa before. I don't know what the deal was. And I've gone on Christmas. It's not new. But whatever. It is what it is. Okay, where's another bag? Just put old. See, now that there's no like glare, you see, he's got like the teal kind of trunks or whatever. He's got like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. He just reminds me of Namor. This is Ricky Starks, by the way. So drop these hands in here and him. And I'll have to look back later to see what series this was. Usually I take notes and stuff. That's why the bags are labeled. And Nebraska, he says. Okay. I went to Nebraska once. Back when I lived in Iowa, we had a family reunion, and for whatever reason, it was in Nebraska. I guess maybe we had family in Nebraska. I don't know. But all I remember about it is some girl bit me when we were on the playground. And I was like, was it one of these arms, like right in the side, like right in the tricep area? And it's like, I haven't thought about that in forever. But now that you bring up Nebraska, that's like my one thing that I think of about Nebraska. I guess 311 also, because they're from Omaha, I believe, right? Isn't I think that's even the cover on the cover of like their grassroots album. I think something about Nebraska's on there. And is there another band that was from there? I almost want to say the All American Rejects, but that I'm not going to commit to that one. I'll Nebraska Con like Comic. Oh, I didn't look directly at that. I saw Nebraska because I was watching MJF rant. Nebraska Con. That that's a thing? Like I have never heard of that. Like what happens there? Because to me, I see Nebraska as a state like a lot of people see Iowa, and just imagine just a bunch of nothing, right? What's in Nebraska though? Hey, Christian, this is a personal favorite. I saw him when I went to an AEW show in the summer of 2021, and he was staying in the hotel. All the guys were staying in the hotel, and I wanted to say something to him, but I was like, I don't want to bother this man. I don't even have anything interesting to say. Maybe that's why I don't get a lot of comments from like all the people, because they're just like they just don't have anything interesting to say, so they say nothing at all. And then there's some people that like they know dang well that they don't have anything interesting to say, but they don't let it stop them. They just say some nonsense. And then sometimes they like their own comment, which is also weird to me. It's like, how self-centered are you, right? And I'll be honest, like a lot of times when I know that happens, because I get these alerts immediately. It's like somebody will make some obscure comment on a video that nobody watches, and then they'll have like an immediate thumbs up. It's like, you clearly did this yourself. Like, what is this all about? So I click thumbs down and then just ignore it, right? It's my way of balancing out the universe, right? So let's put this Christian in this here bag. Oh, I wanted they had a shirt that was these colors, I think, and I wanted it and the green one, but yeah, I was too late, I guess. Hopefully they bring it back. That'd be pretty cool. So there's Christian. Let's see. So are you going to answer my question about this whole like Nebraska Con thing? Like, what's going on there? What's the happenings with that? It's just a bunch of people just, I don't know, doing agriculture, right? That's what's there, right? Just send you some pics on Instagram and followed you. Okay, I will look at those, because normally, I'll be honest, like I am one of those people that doesn't really check my Instagram messages from people that I don't follow, because most of the time, statistically speaking, it's a very one-sided battle, that those comments, or excuse me, those messages, almost always some random person from some random company trying to get me to review their fake shoes. And I'm just like, dude, I don't care about your fake shoes. I don't care about your fake jewelry. Like, what a, I get it's just like a mass sending of things, right? Sure, whatever. But like, there's a whole demographic out there that is all about the fake shoe business. I'm not in it, all right? Every order that I have, every review that I have, whatever, if it's close to me buying it, like usually covers like, hey, like just got these in from sneakers and stuff. It's crazy how much these things cost sometimes. Or, oh, hey, these just came in from Well Gosh, 190 euros. I don't know what that is in dollars, but it's a lot, I assume. I often talk about like buying things, mostly so I can kind of like let people know where they can find stuff. That's part of it. And because it seems like something that people ask every now and then, and it saves them the hassle of asking if they just watch/listen to the video. So, but yes, I will actually, my phone is somewhere, but I got this here handy dandy tablet. I almost dropped it. The pen is magnetic. I'm a big fan of the Samsung Note series, so I bought this Samsung Note tablet, or excuse me, Samsung tablet, but it's like a Note, right? And check that out. This was me. I was doing my quarterly pickups thing today, so I was going through the spreadsheet that BX knows a lot about. Looking through everything, make sure I got all the stuff for the quarter so I could talk about it. But I'm pulling this out not to be distracted, but to go to the old Instagram so I can find you. Well, you'll be in like the recent follows or something. So I can find you and hit this little follow button. And bam, there you go. See that? Following. I'm not going to look at the message. Actually, you know what? I am going to look at the message right now. Because why not? Right? Why not? AEW's on commercial. We got some time. Message. Oh, look at that. Having a good time with the wife, I see. I'm guessing that's the wife. That's, hey, what's this? Oh, is this like all last year? No, those weren't all last year. Were they? No, some of those were previous. Looking at the ones picture you sent here. Yeah, I do like these New Balances. I like that color. Are those the original laces in those? Because they look like they wouldn't be. They work with it. They just look like they wouldn't be the original laces. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very New Balancey to me. And a whole bunch of Air Max 1s. I am a big Air Max 1 fan. I think, was it? No, I was about to say, as far as like the legacy Air Max releases, as in like not like the Air Max 360 and stuff like that. I think of the older Air Max waves. The Air Max 1 might have been my first Air Max. I'm not sure, but that's definitely one of the favorites. It's in the top 5. I made a video talking about that a while ago. I don't remember what all I said because it was a while ago, but it would have probably been not in order, but the Air Max 1, the Air Max Plus, what else? The 97, probably the 2010 or the 2009. I'm trying to think what else would I might have said and what else comes to mind. I said the Plus, the 97. I like the 98s a fair amount, but not that much. Not the 0. I can't think of what the other one would have been then. Maybe it was the 98. I don't know. Thunder Rosa. Yeah, I really like the face paint thing that she's got going on. It doesn't focus because this webcam is like garbage. But, it's pretty all right. It's enough to do this. All right, let's catch up on some comments here. So, live only in Nebraska, which is called South Sioux City. Okay. Oh, athletic director at a college called Western Iowa. Interesting. How's that working out for you? Seems like it could be a cool job. I'm not like good at athletic things or whatever. I look like it, because people will say like, "Oh, you look like you stay in shape and blah blah." I mean, I do, sure, yeah, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can do anything athletic. I can move around a decent amount of weight. When my knee, before this knee thing happened, I could like run a mile in a pretty respectable time, even 2, right? Or 3, depending on the day, right? But that hasn't happened in a little while. But I still wouldn't like necessarily consider myself like an athletic guy, because like when I think athletic, I think sports, and my coordination does not allow me to be good at sports because it does not exist. Let's see, what's next here? Went to Iowa State for undergrad and Drake. Oh yeah, my aunt, she didn't go to Drake, but she works a lot with the Drake relays like every year, helping with like the races and stuff because she ran track through high school and she's just stayed involved in the community since then. So yeah, she's a big Drake person. I might go. I have to see when all that stuff starts and stuff because coming up next year, I'm planning to start going back to Iowa more often. So we'll hopefully be able to catch some of these things that she's always talking about because in the last couple of years, it just hasn't really been an option. I had just moved. I was trying to like get all settled into this new job and my new life or whatever. But now that things are in a pretty good spot, like I've got life. It was never out of control, but like I've got it like, it's like, okay, I know that this is what I'm doing. Like everything's pretty stable, nothing to figure out. Even school is done now. So now I can start like, doing things that I wasn't doing before so much. I really like this frilly thing they have going on here. See, that's why I should start doing those reviews again. So I can like actually take some time to appreciate these here figures I spent all this money on. All right, let's see. It says yes, the wife. All right, cool. And no, got them off Lace. I've heard of Lace Lab. Let's see. The job is pretty nice. Networking is awesome. Yeah, the networking thing is definitely something that helps, especially if you like what you're doing and you want to like do it somewhere else, right? I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't have that option, but the wow, that was impressive. But the networking for me, it's in some ways it's like a little unnecessary because like with the company I've worked with, I could just kind of move around a little bit and just do whatever makes sense wherever it makes sense because we cover a lot of ground, right? Cities, states, countries, whatever. But this Virginia thing, it's working out pretty well because I don't know, like we don't get a lot of snow, and I'm a huge fan of that, right? Huge fan of not having all the snow. And they get a lot of concerts over here, so that's cool too. Originally, I had, when I was getting here, I was thinking, oh, well, it'll be cool because like that area is pretty built up, so should be able to like, coming by the shoe should be like easy too. And that first year or that first several months, couple months, whatever, yeah, it was pretty easy. Like I was going to stores, finding all kinds of stuff that I wanted, but then things shifted with all the COVIDs and such. But nowadays, I don't even like really buy a whole lot of shoes like in stores. Like pretty much everything I get except for what did I get? The black taxis, I think and those vans were the only things that I got in store in the last 4 months, right? Yeah, because all that stuff came from some store somewhere else, which is kind of crazy, right? Because when I started buying shoes, I started with stores, right? Because I just go in there, I see things I liked, and I just buy it, The stores in El Paso were like very well stocked. Things moved at a decent enough pace to where they weren't flying off the shelves. So you didn't have to like rush to buy anything, but like you had time to think about it. And then like couple weeks later, whatever, there's like a sort of a refresh. So there's always new stuff, And then the new stuff would make the old stuff cheaper. His head fell off trying to like get them out of the box. Powerhouse Hobbs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and snap that back on there. There we go. And now it's good as new, right? But yeah, so I liked that. But anyways, as far as like the networking stuff, getting back to what I was talking about, yeah, I meet some new people here and there, right? That don't work directly with me. It's got a weird torso. What is that all about? It's like broken down in there. I mean, it's by design. It's just odd, but it does give you a little bit more swivel, I guess. So I work with a lot of people that I don't actually work with company-wise, right? Because it's different contracts and such. And so some of them, they know me from like, doing what I do. And so if I wanted to, I could probably like talk to them and see what kind of stuff they have available. So the networking thing, like even though I don't really do it, it's nice to have the option. It really is because I know a lot of people that just kind of get stuck in a way in whatever it is they're doing, wherever it is they're doing it, because that's it, right? They aren't in as good of a situation, right? Not necessarily bad on them. It's just sometimes where you are working wise, it just doesn't have a lot of room for movement. And so if you want to leave, you just got to kind of like take it on your own and figure it out, which kind of sucks. But so how did you get into that? Because knowing nothing about that, and I'm not trying to get all in your business, right? So you can just kind of like stop me whenever you want to and be like, you don't need to know that. But out of curiosity though, like how did you get into that? Because it just seems like, I guess everything just seems like challenging in a way to me when I don't understand how it works. I'm just like, what? You did that? Like a friend of mine does like stunts and like those Marvel Netflix shows and stuff and random movies or whatever. And I'm always just like, whoa, how did you do this? That's amazing. But to him, it might have just been as easy as just like being in the right place at the right time. I don't know. Oh, they put some new tape on here that I'm not a fan of. Like, this is like serious too. Like, did they have a problem? Like, because like these are very tamper-proof boxes. Like, you can't get to the figure without destroying this box, right? Unlike those Marvel figures nowadays. The Marvel figures, they just put them in straight cardboard boxes and put them in stores. So people have been buying these figures, getting home and realizing that what's in the box isn't what was supposed to be in the box. So people go to the store and they just swap it out. They just steal things. It's crazy to me, but it's what's going on. That's the world we live in. Put that over there. It's going to fall. Miro used to be called Rusev. Let's see. Been at Western Iowa Tech for 25 years and was the director of student activities, and it just morphed. Okay, so it's just kind of one of those, like, you were in the system and just kind of moved along. Yeah, I can see how that would work too. Which is, I was like, where did that air come from? Like the fan kicked in. But yeah, that's pretty cool though. Like, being able to just kind of, if you're in there and you can just move along at your leisure, they give you some, what is it? There's no ceiling, there's like room to grow and stuff. I'm trying to get this guy out of here. But yeah, so now that you're doing that, like, you think you're gonna stick with it, or is there like something else you have your eye on from a positional standpoint? It seems like, because I know there's, like, with a lot of people, you have your room where you can like do something different, but some people, they're like, yeah, I could move up to this, and it might even be more money or something. Like in my case, it's like there's other things I could do, other places I could work and make more money, but I'm doing pretty well right now, right? And it's just a matter of like, how much money do I need? It's just me, right? And honestly, like, if I didn't buy as many shoes as I buy, like, I don't know what because like there's only so many concerts that pop up, there's only so many action figures that come around. So the shoes is just like where other money goes, It's like, well, got nothing else going on. Let's go ahead and see what these Flint Tropics Grant Hill 2s are all about, If you're a semi-pro fan, you might remember that. But you'll also see those briefly, hopefully tomorrow. I think the video will go up tomorrow. I want it to go up tomorrow, which means it might be a late-ish night tonight as I edit. And, well, no, it's the quarterly pickup video. I don't need to do any editing. I just got to slip my timestamps in there so I know, like, my ad breakdowns or whatever. But yeah, you gonna stick with that is the basic question. Oh, I remember this figure. And I remember like doing the unboxing and like a slight review of it and saying how I didn't really care for it because the suit he's wearing makes me think of baseball, and I do not like baseball. Oh my God, it just seems so boring. Like every time I've seen it, it's just like, well, who watches this? I went to a baseball game once against my will, and I did not enjoy it. And it was like Phoenix, so it was like, it wasn't as hot as it could have been because we were in town for, wait, was it? Actually, you know what? It was during the summer because I went twice, but this time it was for work, and so it was in July. The first time I went was in or the other time I went, it was earlier in the year for WrestleMania. But yeah, I had to sit through a baseball game, and I was not happy about it. Let's see. Yeah, we just started sports. I also do a little trucking on the side, but I will, God willing, retire there at the college. Now that's a good thing, right? Because being able to retire, right? Like I would like to be there one day. It'd be nice, right, to just be able to just sit back and not have to do anything, right? But for me personally, like, I don't think I can ever, well, I'm not going to say I'm going to work forever, But when it comes to retiring and stuff, like even if when I do, I'm gonna have to find something to do, right? I'm gonna have at least like a part-time job, right? Maybe volunteer more. I haven't done a lot of volunteer work in a while. Like I used to like coach little kids soccer and go volunteer like the food shelter, food banks, things like that. Because it's the thing I like doing. I just haven't done it lately. So if I was to retire, I'd probably do more of that stuff just so I could cause I need something to pass the time. I also told myself that like maybe I just go and get a job at like Guitar Center, stocking shelves or something because why not, right? Maybe get like a nice employee discount. That'd be kind of cool. Because I mean, what am I just gonna sit at home all day? Let's see, Gaman94. Hey dude, just seen your channel 2 weeks ago. I got the Gel Light 3 OG Kodo, possibly the nicest looking shoes I've ever had. Love the t-shirt, WCW 1990. Yeah, Capital Combat 1990. Pro Wrestling Tees, or Pro Wrestling Crate shirt. And that's why if you notice like when I do like my videos and stuff, the location that I put in the videos, it changes. Mostly because days like today, it says DC Armory. And the reason I put DC Armory is because that's where this event took place, right? So it's just like those little things that like kind of entertain me. So I do them. And sometimes people notice, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it'll be like a one-off thing and somebody will be like, "Oh, you're from Canada?" I'm like, no, like did these Iowa pillows not get through to you? Because I'll have like Canada in the subject, not subject, but in the location. But anyway, so going back to the Kodo thing, right? I just wore those today. Well, let me rephrase that. Yesterday, I wore what's the green pair called? The eucalyptus pair, right? It was light sage. And today, I wore the hydrangea pair, which is barely rose and rose quartz, right? Both of them went over pretty well at work, right? People at work have caught on that I have a lot of shoes because the repeats do not happen often. I'll say that. They, oh yeah, like almost never. Well, I won't say almost never, but it's rare, right? I've been working there for 2 years now. Well, 2 years and like 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it'll be 2 years, and yeah, it's probably been like maybe I don't know, 10 to 15 pair that I've worn more than once or something like that, if that, right? And I work pretty much every day, so that's a lot of shoes. If you ever go back through the channel, right? I don't expect you to, but if you could, in my Kicks of the Day playlist, that was like a year and a month. Every day, I wore a different pair of shoes. We did a little video thing when I got home, ranting about it. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? But the Kodo pack went over very well. People were like, those are pretty cool, It's got like some leather on there, a little bit of suede. The colors are nice, right? Yeah. The Gel Light 3 is one that comes up in conversation quite a bit amongst my little trio of friends here. I guess it's a trio because it's three of us, right? So, because one of the guys, he's also into the Gel Light 3s and was just telling me about a new pair today that I hadn't heard of yet, but apparently it just came out. Okay, let's see. But yes, let me go pin the comments so people know what I was rambling about. So yeah, those are very cool. So, and it's funny because like I just bought my first pair of Gel Light 3s in December of 2020. So most of the Gel Light 3s that I have were purchased in 2021, right? And I've got a fair amount because they're really cool, right? They've got a decent look, they're really comfortable, and the price point is nice, and the color selection is just beyond belief. So I speak very highly of them. I truly do. Let's see. What's next here? The red and black ones, just copped those off StockX a week ago for the low. Wait. The red and black what? Because I forgot what we may have been talking about. But yeah, I don't really get a lot of stuff from StockX. I've bought the green pair, I think, of the Air Max 1 Curry pack. I bought my Citron 350s and my Marsh 350s also from StockX. Because the thing about me is like, I tend to just, if I miss out on something, I just move on for the most part because it's like, whatever. And if I want something and it's like going right around retail, I'll put in a max bid of what retail was, right? And if people are willing to accept it, fantastic. If they aren't, that's cool. I've got no shortage of footwear choices, so it just doesn't matter a lot. But I have been wanting to try eBay. Like, I don't really need any shoes there's nothing I'm really looking for, but I want to try it out because like I've heard some really good things about the eBay process as far as like authentication and blah blah blah. So that's something I'd like to give a shot one day. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but I've heard a lot of good things from people whose opinions I respect. Because hearing good things from strangers is like whatever, right? Let's see. I'm on the board of Red Cross, and we're always looking for volunteers. Yeah. You better, you got to start screening some of those volunteers. Well, I don't know if they're volunteers or what, but the lady that was doing my blood thing, let me see, like, I donate regularly, so I actually bring my like blood donor card so I can check in quickly, right? And sometimes people are like, "You have one of the cards, huh? Fancy, right?" Because I guess anybody can get one, but not everybody has one. Also, over there somewhere, I hit my 3 gallons of donations a couple months ago, and they sent me this little like pin in the mail, so that's kind of cool. So, where I was going with this, the last time I went to donate blood, sometime in the middle of the beginning of December, the lady was just like, I'm gonna blame her, right? Because I've done this whole song and dance many times. She's like, oh well, I don't know if it's gonna work, blah blah blah, right? So I was doing the power red because I'm a power red guy, right? It's a lot easier on me, right? No recovery, right? So I'm trying to do that, and she's just not doing it right. She's like stabbing all in my arm, trying to get the vein to like happen and stuff. I'm just like, and that's painful, right? I'm taking it because like I'm used to it, and I'm just like, all right, I just got to bear with this for a few minutes, and then it'll be smooth sailing. Just weather the storm, right? No, that woman she was not on her A game that day, and she's like, oh, blah blah blah, there's a problem. So they just like canceled the whole thing, and I just like went home, right? So whoever like controls that, terrible, because she was not so great. But I'm not going to look down on the Red Cross as a whole because for the most part, like again, over the last 20 years or so, how long I've been donating, most times it goes fine. But not that day. I have not watched wrestling since the early 80s. It's very different now. It's a lot faster. It's a lot more colorful. It's a lot more of a spectacle nowadays, you know? But there's a place for everything. There's some things I like about how it was. There's some things I like about how it is now. But, you know, it's just kind of up to whoever's watching it and what they want to see, I guess. Hydrangea are the ones I got. Stunning color and very unusual. Yeah, they are. Like, the only thing for me is that, like, when it comes to the hydrangea, right, it's very similar to the dizygotic shoes that I have, right? I don't know if you happen to see that review, but they're the shoes made by these like two, I can't think of the name, like they're twins, but they don't look alike, right? And so the shoes are made very similar. They have a lot of the hydrangea colors. It's just they're switched on the different shoes, right? So it comes out very cool, right? It really does. But those I do really like a lot. It's just that they're very, very close in color. So in some ways, that kind of makes me like the light sage color more just because it's different, right? Again, like it was one of those times where it was a pack, so I'm usually just inclined to get both shoes. But I thought I was gonna like the hydrangea one more because it just looked better on the pictures. And once I got it in hand, like something about that subtle green of the light sage one it just works super well, right? Actually, I'm gonna grab those shoes that I was just talking about because why not? Give me a second. Be back in a moment. Not a big deal. Don't get all worried. Okay. All right. Coming back now. So this is the ones that I was talking about, right? So it's kind of like a magnetic box, right? You see that? Yeah, it's a magnetic box thing. The shoes are held in with these straps, right? So they're very similar colors to what you see over here. So when I looked at the light sage ones, it's like, well, I kind of like these more because they're a little different. Actually, let me get this thing out of the way so you can actually see this. So yeah, see, that's what I was saying, like how they're both very similar, just slightly different. And on one of these sides, you got a bunch of little laces in there, and you got this little pin at the top, right? But yeah, these are very cool. Makes a little butterfly on the back, when you open it, and the butterfly at the top. And like I was saying, in case you missed it, Dizygotic is the name. Very nice. They don't have a lot of releases because it's a small brand, right? I think they only have like 3 or so on their webpage, and that being one of them. But the quality of those things, they're expensive, right? It's like 267 or 276, somewhere in there. Let's just say 270. It's $270, right? Shipped, like straight retail, straight from them. But the attention to detail, they sent like not a handwritten letter. There's like a letter on cardstock, like, "Hello, Tristan. Thank you for buying these." Blah blah blah. Yeah, the presentation of that whole thing was just crazy, and the materials, it's like top notch, right? So if you've got some money that you don't think you'll miss, and you want to have something that like most people won't have, that's a thing to consider, right? I haven't worn them yet. I was going to do that this week because it's January, the first week of January, new year, new month. I was thinking like I'll just do new shoes this month or this week, not all month. I have enough that I could do new shoes all month, but that means I'd have to get through a lot of these reviews because what? Yeah, I mean I've got a lot of shoes that I haven't worn yet, but most of them most of them are from the recent purchases, and that means they haven't been reviewed yet, so I can't wear them yet. Why man, this tape is like ridiculous on here. So, moving along. Where were we? Okay, hydrangea, the ones I get. Nope, saw that. And you're a real dude, and we'll keep following, hitting like on videos. Gotta go by. Oh, all right. Hopefully I didn't miss that, but good luck to you with your work and all that good stuff. Hope things go well. Say hey to your people for me. Tell them a fellow Iowa guy gives them a thumbs up. Okay. But yeah, that's the thing. I like to do these live things because it gives me time to I can do this random crap that I need to do, but I can also sit here and talk to people in a more real time way and kind of get into some stuff that I wouldn't normally get into because again, when you're just doing this through the comments, it's just not the same. The only problem is because I know some people will get online, they'll do their lives just anytime for any reason. What is this? Now Red Velvet's moving away. Why isn't she? Wait a second. See, Red Velvet's switching up this whole thing, right? I don't know if she's becoming the bad guy or what, but old Jade Cargill is not happy about it. But I personally am cool with it because it seems like it's something that's going to keep Red Velvet on TV, and that's the thing that I want to see. All right, so go ahead and slip this guy in here. Oh, this was Taz, the human suplex machine from ECW. But nowadays, he's the human commentary machine. So a little different, but still entertaining. Talking about yam bags and whatnot. Okay. Anything else in there? Cool. But yeah, what time is it? It is 9:43. So probably going to be wrapping this thing up soon because Dynamite is almost over. And once Dynamite is over, then it's probably time for me to start moving on into bed and stuff. After I knock out that quarterly thing, which should be all uploaded and ready to edit. And then got to do some stuff for work, I believe. Then I can go to bed, right? Luckily, I don't have to wake up super early. Do I? I don't know. I got some flexible-ish hours right about now. So, but I do plan to go in by 8, so I can leave at a decent time. Because if I have to do 8 hours of work, like the earlier you start, the earlier you leave, right? Obviously. So it kind of makes me want to just like get it going in the beginning of the day so I can just move on. Okay, now we have a Wardlow figure. I'm not a huge fan of this particular color for some odd reason, but it's not terrible. It's not better than the last one. It's not terrible either. And let's get this thing over here. So, but anybody else? Okay, yeah, but anybody else that is in there. So if you have any questions or whatever, go ahead, leave those in there, and I'll like say some stuff, ramble on about some things, give you some insight on some stuff. I also asked earlier if anybody had any suggestions for like the videos themselves, right? Because I get that there are things a lot of people like, and there are some things that some people don't like. Room for improvement is always a thing, right? So I'm not going to sit here and act like the videos are perfect because I know that they're not, right? But I don't know what people really care to see improve. Because I can look at something like when I'm editing these things and think, I don't quite like this thing about this, but nobody else seems to mind, so maybe I'll just let it go. And again, I've been doing this for like, it'll be 4 years on the 21st of January. It'll be 4 years that I've been doing this, which is 2 Saturdays from now. And I don't know, like when I started doing this, I didn't think about how long it would go on or any of that. I just figured that, you know what? I have some shoes, I have a camera, maybe I can be a YouTube guy too. And I had the main thing, which is free time, right? So I was sitting there and I decided to just start making the videos. And it was weird at first, but you kind of get used to sitting in a room basically talking to yourself, right? And so I just kind of let it go. But now it's weird because it's a thing that is more a part of my life, I guess, because for one, some people at work do know that I do this, and so they'll like kind of not necessarily make fun or tease me about it, but they'll make the comments every so often. Say like, oh, blah blah blah. Like they're mocking my like the on feet things and showing off whatever, when I'm doing that stuff. Which is funny because like I think about that every time I'm actually doing the on feet things. I'm standing there doing the same little motion. Like I feel ridiculous when I'm doing it. I truly do, because it's just like, what am I doing here? Like it's a thing people like though, right? I started doing the on feet because people would ask for it, and then when I started doing them, more people started watching and stuff, right? But it's still just kind of funny, like it comes up the whole YouTube thing, and people will make fun or something of me in fun, right? Not like looking down on it. But now it's like I'm like, man, this is almost 4 years of videos and 4 years of sitting here talking about stuff. And I mean, it's gonna happen. This channel is going to keep happening until I find something else to do, right? Anybody ever had these? There's like sugar-free things. I get them from Sam's, strawberry melon, strawberry lemon. But yeah, it's still weird to think about it because like I guess I didn't really see this lasting this long or even going anywhere, because I've always been just that kid that sits in the corner and just is by himself and it's just fine, right? I don't need any attention. Just leave me alone and I'll just be good. So I didn't really expect people to show up and like watch this and care at all, but they do, right? Random people that I've never met will show up like we just talked about, and we can sit here and talk for 20, 30 minutes and it'll be a good time. And that's still just so weird to me, right? So looking at the future of this. It's like, I guess I'm just gonna keep doing it, but how long really, right? Like, because am I gonna be like 50, 60 years old, still just sitting here like, well, maybe not sitting right here, but still doing this, right? Because I don't watch a lot of YouTube, right? I honestly don't. Like it's one of my least favorite places to be, completely honest. But I don't see a whole lot of like older people doing the YouTube thing. And when I do, they're like doing tech things or something like that, right? And which is actually like a bigger interest for me than shoes, right? If I was still following all the motherboard and processor releases, I would much rather be talking about what AMD is doing and why you should check this chip out over this one. But this is just a thing that I have fallen into because it's the thing I started doing. So now it's like just the thing that I do. But yeah, it's interesting. Oh look, Darby Allen, he's about to jump off a ladder. No, that doesn't look safe. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was not, I don't think that was a good idea. He, because, so you can't just like go and be flipping off of not buildings, flipping off of ladders, right? So he did it. I mean, he's walking away from this, but he did like a front flip, kind of like a front tuck, like landing on your feet almost, and off of a ladder, and like it didn't look like everything was good, Like he could have easily just like landed wrong, but he seems to be okay. But whatever. So yeah, all again reiterating something earlier in the thing. I said, hey, leave your feedback. There's a whole comment, or not a comment. There's a community post where I said leave some comments here, not necessarily like about what you want to see, but more about like the presentation of the videos because that I know it's not always. Wow, that looked terrible. This dude just got slammed like on the steps part of these steel steps. Like Darby Allen's career is going to be like a year, maybe two, right? And that's if he takes like a year off. So, yeah, so leave some comments over there if there's something that crosses your mind and you see some room for improvement because I know that it's out there, but I just need to know what people actually care to see improved, right? Because I'm not going to put time into doing this thing over here just because it makes sense to me if no one else cares about it. I'll just leave things how they are and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, right? I mean, at the same time, it's been working out the last 4 years. Why wouldn't it keep working out for more time? I was going to say four or more, but probably maybe four, maybe more. But, anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped up so I can start shutting this thing down. I did have some other ones to do, but it takes a while to like unbox things if I'm like not doing it completely and I'm mostly talking to people. So the Unmatched series, I'll probably do. I got another live that I'm supposed to do later, so I'll probably do those then. We'll see what happens. But for now, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to finish up these last 10 minutes of Dynamite while I sit here and tinker away to get this editing stuff situated for tomorrow. Yeah. So thanks again for showing up. It's good talking to some of the people that came in here and decided to have some conversation with me. It's always appreciated, right? So that's it for me. Later, people.